I'm just trying to impress upon you how very, very serious you performing these duties are. Florida, Missouri, Idaho, Louisiana, Michigan, Maryland, Texas, Wisconsin, California, Georgia, Colorado. Those are all within the last 5 years church shootings. You know as well as I do, looking at the newspapers and the news coverage, active shooter incidents, they're happening a couple of times a month. They're happening in every place from malls to the Brooklyn Navy Yard, every place you go, office buildings, and they are certainly happening in churches. If you think that it can't happen here, you are 100% wrong. If you wait for the subject to make an overt move, if you wait for what we call his moment of commitment, where he actually stands up and pulls out the gun, or he actually stands up and comes forward with a knife, or a jar of acid, or any one of another dozen ways that the assaults have taken place. If you wait for that moment, chances are you're going to be too late. So we're going to teach you how to profile, how to pick out possible suspects. If you look at the history of church shootings over the past 10 years, although in most cases the pastor is the target, there are also a number of incidents where it's a congregant who's the target, and that's usually the result of a domestic incident. We want the good guys to feel safe. We want the bad guys to see us and know that we're ready and that we're professional. Every one attempt, 7 to 10 were aborted because the bad guy was intimidated by the security force. Most attacks occur within 5 seconds. It's over. The entire thing is over in 5 seconds. Most of those occur within 2 seconds. 1001, 1002, it's over. If you're going to be in the room, be in the room. Don't be thinking about what happened yesterday or what happened an hour before. Don't be thinking about the argument with your wife or your husband or the fact that your kids are driving you crazy. Don't be thinking about the fact that you're going to have a great pasta dinner when you get out of church. Don't be thinking about anything. When we're out there, we're constantly scanning the congregation. I mentioned before, and no insult intended, when I'm working, I couldn't tell you what the pastor's message is because I'm looking at everybody in their room. You want to look for the guy who the air conditioning is working fine, but he's sweating. You want to look for the guy that has a backpack with him and he's keeping it on his lap and he keeps touching it. You want to look for the guy that is there for 3 services and each time he moves closer to pastor. You want to look for any kind of suspicious behavior. It's a lot easier if you're in the sanctuary before it gets filled up. It's a lot easier for you to look at the people coming in. My suggestion and my advice would be, if it's a 10:30 service, be in here by 10:10, 10:15. If you're assigned to tactical leader, or if you're assigned to any of these positions, it's not just tactical leader who's responsible for detecting threats. Every single security member is responsible. So it's possible that the guys that are back here might see something the tactical leader doesn't see. Well, it's a lot easier to scan these people and to develop your profiles and to look for anybody that's suspicious as they're coming in than to look at a congregation of 1,400 people, 1,500 people at sometimes, and try to pick them out then. We're realistic in that most of the people that you're looking at are not bad guys. They're not potential assassins. They're not here to commit an assault. They're here to praise the Lord. We have to understand that, and we have to act accordingly.
All scenarios start with the same basic setup. For the sake of these scenarios, the pastor will be located behind the pulpit. Primary cover is seated in the center of the front row of Section B. Team leader is seated in the front row of Section D on the side closest to aisle 5. The threat is assumed to be approaching from the center aisle within the first 10 rows. The remaining team members are located strategically throughout the sanctuary. A possible threat approaches the altar area. An alert is called over the radio by the team leader. Primary cover moves in front of the altar stairs. Team leader moves toward the threat. The team member at the rear center doors approaches the threat from the rear, unnoticed by the threat. If the situation does not escalate, primary cover holds his position and team leader engages the subject. Team leader and the team member then escort the threat out of the north altar doors if required.